Welcome back to Patriot Plus, and it's been a while since I've done a video, and I think it's necessary to do one at this time period, because we are getting close to, I would say, the most important election in our country's history, and um, I think that it is important that people have a reminder of how important it is to vote and get involved. So I am doing this video today. I don't know how frequent I will be doing videos. I don't know if I will be doing more videos after this, but anyway, we'll leave that to decide later. Um, so the first thing I want to get to is the term election denier. Probably every day, and when I turn on the TV, I watch the regular news channel, I hear some Democrat attacking a Republican, calling them an election denier. Well, not to mention the fact Hillary Clinton, the Democratic Party's nominee for president in 2016, denied the election results. I mean, you have it right there. The presidential nominee of the Democratic Party in 2016 denied the election results against Donald Trump. Now, first of all, if you're at a point in your country where you cannot question the election results, or question the legitimacy of the election results, then your country is going down a very, very wrong path, very, very fast and quickly. I mean, it's part of freedom of speech, honestly. Do I personally think that the election, that there was fraudulent activity going on? Of course I do. I think that there was a lot of fraud happening in the 2020 election. Now, do I think that it was completely stolen, like many people say? I don't think it was. But I do think that there was some interference with the election, as most Americans think that there was. Anyway, next up, I want to get to the midterms and what we're facing. I think Republicans have a good chance at winning the Senate and the House. Now, many people say it's going to be a red wave. I disagree. I'm going to be very realistic with you. I have done my research. I have looked at many different polling companies and their history and their record. It will not be a red wave. But I think the odds are currently with the Republicans, and I think we will be taking back both chambers. I think we have a chance. Republicans have a chance at maybe picking up 1 to 2 seats in the Senate, and maybe about 30 seats in the House. But I think a very important race, leading to my next topic that I want to talk about here, is simply the New York State governor's election. Now, many people back in 2018 would probably think you're crazy if you would want to, touch on the New York State gubernatorial election. Like, Republican has no chance, right? Yeah, no chance. Well, a candidate named Lee Zeldin, I'm sure you guys have heard of him, is running against Kathy Hochul. Now, I'm going to tell you some of the things Kathy Hochul is running on. The first thing she's running on is protecting women's health rights, which is basically supporting abortion, which is murder to a baby. The second thing she's running on is attacking Lee Zeldin on being an election denier. Now, isn't that crazy? Now, the next thing that she's running on is she's basically running on a radical agenda And one of the things that she supports is cashless bail. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going through their heads. Do they think that, they think that releasing criminals will get them more votes because the criminals are going to vote Democrat? Is that what they think? I don't know what they're thinking, but, some people say that they're trying to make it so that the poor people can bail themselves out of jail, because at this point, oh yeah, there's not it's not fair on how rich people can just bail themselves out every time. Well, you know what? If a rich person commits a crime and they can bail themselves out, then good for them, because they've worked to earn their money. And I think that releasing people with in cashless bail is basically committing suicide to your city or state. It's plain out committing suicide. It's crazy how far our country has gone down. And I want to get to the Pennsylvania Senate race. I can't believe John Fetterman. I can't believe he's running a campaign. I mean, I think that in the debate alone, after that debate, or even before the debate, I'll say, before the debate, when he had a stroke, the Dr. Oz should have been leading in the polls by at least, I say this, at least 10 points. He should be leading by at least 10 points. But the Democrats in D.C. are spending millions and millions and millions of dollars attacking Dr. Oz to try to push John Fetterman to the finish line. Because you know what? They don't need people to debate on behalf of their party's policies in the Senate. They need votes. And that's what John Fetterman would give to the Democrats. Okay, I want to get to the topic of how socialism creeps in. We've seen it happen in Venezuela. I think we've seen it happen in Mexico, or at least it's going to happen in Mexico. We've seen it happen in Canada with Justin Trudeau up there. And I think we're going to see it happen in Brazil as well. Okay? It all starts off with stealing elections. And I mean, it's as crazy as it sounds, but in areas like Venezuela, they will try to normalize things that are not normal. And when they try to normalize things that are not normal, eventually they will indoctrinate their citizens so that they believe that the government is the central power. And they begin to become reliant on the government. In Mexico, we are starting to see that process take place. And folks, if we don't take action in this country, I'm afraid we're going to see it happen here. But, trying to normalize releasing criminals without bail, okay? Trying to normalize having a president that basically cannot speak for himself. He has people controlling him and reads off of teleprompters every word that he says. Trying to normalize critical race theory in our schools. Trying to normalize an open border. Can you get this? A border that is wide open. Drugs pouring in. All this. Trying to normalize that. It all boils down to having people believe that it's okay to have an open border. It's okay to teach our kids critical race theory. It's okay to have an incompetent president. That's what it all boils down to. And once the people believe it's okay for those things, then that's when socialism creeps through. That's when they can do things that are unconstitutional without any pushback. That's when they can take your right to vote away and throw it right in the trash can. It's crazy. And I mean, you look in Brazil, the current president there, Bolsonaro, I apologize if I mispronounced his name, was a very good president. Very good president. Conservative. Somebody who was law and order, cracked down on illegal drugs. And people are saying that the election was stolen there and that a far leftist named Lula got elected, which that leftist who got elected in Brazil was actually in jail, believe it or not, before. Oh my gosh. And I mean, there must be millions of people who have taken to the streets in Brazil already. And it is sad, but there's hope, folks. I mean, we've seen it in areas like Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu, apologize, it looks like he's going to become the next prime minister. He's a very, very smart person, very well educated, and I am very happy for the people of Israel. And also in Italy, they have a right wing government. There are some countries that are doing very well at this point. They've elected, strong conservative leadership, but in some countries, voting is far gone, and there is no opposition to the socialist ideals that have been put in place in those countries. But I think we are going to see. I think Republicans are going to be very happy on election day, and I'm going to say this, and I think Democrats should agree with me when I make this statement I'm going to make. Is our country headed in the right track? I personally say no. Our country is heading in the wrong direction. Matter of fact, we've gone off the tracks. To the point where China, get this, China, okay? China is not taking us serious anymore. I mean, we're seeing North Korea just shoot these missiles like crazy over in their region. That should never be acceptable. And I'm telling you right now, if Donald J. Trump was the president, none of this would be happening. This war in Ukraine that we're sending billions and billions of taxpayer money to. I mean, come on. We don't do that, okay? I have some people would say I have a very unpopular opinion on this Ukraine war. But I say we should stop all involvement in this war. Stop sending them money. Stop sending them weapons. I say we should halt all of the spending in Ukraine. Because what we are doing is sending items to Ukraine and money is basically we are attempting to light a nuclear war with Russia. Russia is a serious threat. And we are basically fighting a proxy war at this point with Russia. I personally think we should stop, materially and money-wise, with helping Ukraine. I know the people of Ukraine, I really do feel for them. I am sorry that they have to go through this situation. And it is because of our current administration and our weak policies and foreign policy. But I think that, Russia and Ukraine should sit down on the table. Ukraine should stop saying that they want to take back all the land that Russia has already taken from them, because it's not possible. It's not possible. They're not going to take back any. They're not going to. I'll say this. that yes, they can take back some land, but they're not going to completely push Russia out of Ukraine. That's impossible. At least for Ukraine is itself against Russia. I think they should sit together at the table, let Russia take a certain amount of land. Because what I say in these wars and situations happening is we should try as hard as we can to create peace. And in a matter with Russia and Ukraine, the only reason why this war happened is because Vladimir Putin wants land. He wants power over more people. He's a greedy person. And I have to give him credit. He is a master manipulator. And he knows how to play the manipulation game very well. And I do think the end result of this Ukraine war will be a Russian victory, because currently Russia has about 200,000 soldiers, at least when they started the war. They put 200,000 soldiers worth of men into Ukraine, approximately, somewhere around there. Okay? And the size of Russia's army is up in the millions. There is no way you're going to tell me a country with a maximum military strength of about 300,000 troops, Ukraine, is going to defeat Russia in a war. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, folks. Is a ceasefire possible? I think a ceasefire is possible. But I think that the end game is Russia is going to win this war. Not that I want them to, but I think if it's the only way to create peace in that region is to sit down on the table and give Russia part of what they want, I think we should do it. But I do think I will say this, that our biggest threat is not Russia. It is China. Xi Jinping, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, basically just declared himself the emperor of China for life. I really do feel bad for the Chinese citizens, but it is what it is, folks. So, yeah, but make sure to vote, November 8th. It's a very important election. Even if you don't regularly vote in an election, please vote, because this election is very crucial. And if you don't vote, you could really, you're really not helping the cause very much, because voting is a duty. And I think as Americans, and I know the majority of the people who are watching me are Republicans, and I think especially we should vote. And take your neighbor with you. Take somebody with you as well. If they're handicapped and they can't drive and they need to vote, take them with you. But I think we're gonna pick up a few seats. I think we're gonna win the Senate and the House. So I'm optimistic about that. But that's gonna wrap up today's show, or podcast, whatever you want to call it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.